Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Friday, the 25th of August, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down almost 1% today to 7,115 points, meaning for the week, the bourse was off about 0.5%. There was plenty of red ink around the place. National Australia Bank was down 1.7%, while BHP, Commonwealth Bank, Woodside and Transurban all finished more than 1% lower. WiseTech Global has had a roller coaster ride this week. After reporting results on Wednesday morning, it tumbled 16% on the day, recovered about half of that yesterday and then fell another 5% today. Among the best performers today, Woolies and Goodman Group. The biggest movers though, Pilbara Minerals, which reported results today, and Tabcorp both fell more than 7%. On the other side of the coin, Iress jumped more than 9%. Story number 2, Wesfarmers posted an 18% rise in full-year sales to $43.6 billion, ahead of market expectations thanks to strong performances from Bunnings and the Kmart Group. Net profit was up 5% to $2.5 billion for the year ending 30 June. Boss Rob Scott said the results demonstrate the strength of the group's operating model and the quality of the portfolio. Now, Wesfarmers is one of the few remaining conglomerates with businesses across retail, health, and chemicals, energy and fertilisers. Sales at hardware giant Bunnings gained 4%. Mr. Scott said shoppers are still pursuing small-scale DIY home improvement projects, but they're more cautious in making big-ticket purchases. Kmart Group, which also includes Target, posted a 17% jump in sales. Mr. Scott warned that general inflation remains elevated and cost pressures are persisting, despite moderation in raw material and international freight costs. Wesfarmers' chemicals, energy and fertilisers business posted a 9% jump in sales. All in all, the company's share price finished up nearly 3%. Given the market was down 1%, that's a pretty good day. Story number 3, election officials have knocked out complaints from opposition leader Peter Dutton that crosses marked on ballot papers will not be counted as no votes in the upcoming Voice to Parliament referendum. In an unusually strongly worded rebuttal, the Australian Electoral Commission said much of the commentary over the use of ticks and crosses was factually incorrect and based on emotion, according to a report in the Financial Review. The AEC said that it completely and utterly rejects the suggestions by some that by transparently following the established public and known legislative requirements, the AEC is undermining the impartiality and fairness of the referendum. And I quote, as has been the case at every electoral event, the AEC remains totally focused on electoral integrity. Now, when Australians are given their ballot paper for the referendum, they'll be instructed to write yes if they support changing the Constitution or no if they're opposed. There is a single box to record their vote. Electoral Commissioner Tom Rogers said this week a tick in the box instead of a word would be counted as a yes vote, but a cross would not be accepted as a formal no vote. Story number 4, former Treasury Secretary Ken Henry says an intergenerational tragedy lies ahead if the government continues to rely on personal income tax. It comes after Treasurer Jim Chalmers released the intergenerational report yesterday, sparking calls for a discussion on major tax reform. Chalmers said continuing to rely on personal income tax as the principal growth tax will damage economic performance. He said it sets up an intergenerational tragedy because it's the young people who are going to be the workers of the future, people who are weighed down. Mr. Henry said young Australians would also be hit by HECS debt, the consequences of climate change and diminishing prospects of home ownership. And finally, story number 5, former President Donald Trump surrendered this morning on charges he illegally schemed to overturn the 2020 election. He spent 20 minutes at the Fulton County Court in Georgia and became the first president ever to have his mugshot taken. He was released on a $200,000 bond and headed back to the airport for his flight home to New Jersey. After his motorcade left, he flashed a thumbs up through the window of his SUV. After the visit, Trump insisted he did nothing wrong and called the case, accusing him of subverting election results, a travesty of justice. He later posted his mugshot on the social media site X, formerly known as Twitter, appealed for donations and declared election interference, never surrender. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 25th of August, 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X and Facebook. Join Michael Thomas and I tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.